Hey y'all. So excited to be here with you all today. I'd love to know where you are streaming in from and what questions you have about sales. We've been talking about sales this is our 5th week in a row, and I'm really interested to know how things are changing for you. What results can we celebrate together? And what questions can I answer today to help you go deeper? We're going to be doing more Q&A as the next months go on. Starting tomorrow, we're doing an open forum. So if you want to actually see each other in real time, get on video together, please let me know. Hi, Ronnie. Nice to see you. You can email my team, info@jessiejohnsoncoaching.com, or click in the link tree. It's available everywhere. So today is the 5th of 5 trainings that I planned for April, focusing on the energetics of sales, the psychology of sales, the interpersonal dynamics of sales that really help you step into your own authenticity. So there's no compromise. It's not like you have to trade off what you really value, how you really enjoy showing up in the world in order to do sales. I think that that's been one of my biggest takeaways from my conversations with you guys over the last month, is that that's the biggest misconception that people have, is that they somehow have to be something different than they are in order to sell. They have to compromise or sell out in order to serve people. And when we really zoom out and look at it, it doesn't make any sense. But this is the thing that stops people. So I just want to kind of encapsulate that and synthesize that for you all, because I think it's really important. If you knew that everything that you are, everything that you're doing, everything that you're choosing, everything that matters to you, all your values, all the things that you love, all the things that inspire you, those are the thing that is necessary to make your sales literally light up the world. How differently would you experience your sales process? Just feel into that. Right now, think about, what's your favorite thing to do? What's your absolute favorite thing that you do in your whole life? What feels best to you? Hopefully there's a lot of things. Let's see some of those things in the chat. What do you love? Unapologetically, there's no hesitation in you. It's super clear. I love hot water. I love chai. I love sex. I love money. I love looking at the beach. I love feeling good. I love meditating. I love doing kirtan and connecting with God. I love this. Baking. What else, guys? What do you love? Let's go into this. This is going to be a little experiential. Nature. Of course, Yvonne. Yes. Yes. So keep throwing your things that you love in the chat. I love Sri Kala. Oh my God, I love him so much. I love loving him. Those of you that don't know, Shrikala is my husband. Creating movement, dancing, yes. Moving your body, oh my God. I love watching those crazy Blue Planet, and actually Blue Planet's kind of my favorite, movies or documentaries about the ocean and all the crazy, right? So think about how you feel when you're doing those things that you love. And I'm just going to look again. Shopping, morning practice, yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. So think about those things that you know that you love, that there's no blockage when you think about how much you love them. Water, dancing, travel, yes. I'm just going to move this over because I can't see your guys' comments as well. Great. So some of you guys are putting this in now. Losing Instagram. 1 second. So, better. Hey, Tiffany. So fun to see you here. So when you are doing the things that you love, how do you feel? How do you show up? One with all. I feel like a ball of fierceness. For me, I feel like it's super simple. It's super easy. I'm very joyful. I'm very connected. I'm very interested in the world. I'm very alive. I'm very engaged. When I'm cuddling with an animal, which somebody else just mentioned, oh my God, I love cuddling with my bunnies. I feel like so tender, so like devoted. It's such a sweet feeling. Sweetness is actually a really strong element for me personally. So I'm taking you guys through a process here. The first layer of the process is thinking about what do you do or what do you experience that you love, very clearly, very easily. And then go underneath that. What's happening on the inside when you're doing those things? Like, what's the through line? When you're baking, when you're being with nature, when you are driving through the mountains, right? What's the thing? You are with the world. You are with yourself. So that, you can't necessarily, I shouldn't say you can't bake while you sell. Maybe you can. But it's really nice and generous to be like fully attentive to the person that you're talking to when you're in a sales conversation. But the thing that you're doing underneath, that thing you can do anywhere. You can do it all the time. Free from judgment, free from worry, free from guilt, connected to your ancestral line. I love that. Focused, devotional, joyful. Whatever those qualities are, those are the truth of you. That's not a performance. You're not playing a role, or you wouldn't have named this activity as something that you love. So this is, when you drill down, you see the truth of what you actually are, what you actually express when you are uninhibited. Pleasure, delight, right? That's the thing to bring into your sales calls. And I want to share this quote with you guys. I read this on Facebook. I don't know much about it. I'm still researching, and I welcome anyone who's watching to tell me if you know anything about this, because I am still learning. But it's a quote from a man named Kenneth Cohen, I know that, speaking about his teacher, who was a Native American named Rolling Thunder. And I think that this quote, like when I'd never read this before, I read it, and it just felt like it encapsulated something very, very important. So I want to share it with you and kind of annotate it. Rolling Thunder said to me, Ken Cohen, if I continued training with him, he needed to be certain that I had enough core strength that negative forces, whether pressures from society or negative spirits, could not use me for their purposes. So let's just break that down a little bit. The idea that there's like a certain amount of growth that you can do, a certain amount of progress you can make until you get to the next initiation, the next phase of your growth. I think that's really interesting, that there's different phases of training. It just makes sense in my body, right? That we've all, whatever we've done until now has gotten us here. And frankly, the fact that you're watching this, the fact that we're in quarantine right now, there is another initiation that's happening right now for all of us. Recognizing that, I think, is very powerful, because there's, right, think about when you started a new course in school, right? You'd get your new books. You might buy a new Trapper Keeper, get some new notebook paper, whatever the supplies for that course were going to be. Just like really enjoying my chai now that I've shared that with you guys. The same is true here. Right? It's time for you to gather some new resources or more of the same resources, but with that intention of like, I'm beginning a new chapter of my training. This is a new initiation. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part is the idea that our teachers, our mentors, whether physical or other, are checking to make sure that we have what we need to move into the next chapter. I'm thinking of a time when I wanted to, actually I'll bring in a little contemporary thing. We just finished watching Little Fires Everywhere. And what I'm about to say is not a spoiler, so it's like very inconsequential, but it's a good example for this. There's a moment when one of the characters, her name is Pearl, she's in high school, she wants to move to a higher math class. She goes to the school counselor to try to basically fight for this. And the counselor is slow for multiple reasons, but he's slow to say yes to her because, in the most positive view of it, he's not sure she's ready. And he would rather her experience success in the class that she's in than fail in a class that's too hard for her. There's also racism going on. We'll just put that aside. So there's something similar happening here. Rolling Thunder is saying to Kenneth Cohen, I don't know if you've got what it takes. Not as a moral value judgment, but just I don't know if you're ready. I don't know if you're ready. Do you have enough core strength? In other words, do you know yourself well enough? Do you know your gifts deeply enough? Are you confident enough? Are you resilient enough that you can stand up to the negative forces that will come into your life, whether they come from outside, on the material plane, from society, or whether they come, and I love this part, whether they come from the spiritual realm, from negative spirits? When I started this month of training, Shrikala and I had some conversations about the ethics of teaching this material, because it can be used for good or bad, right? You can use these tools in whatever direction you want. And we talked about whether or not I should be teaching this publicly for free to anyone and everyone who watches, or should this be more sheltered? And what I'll say to that is that I actually don't believe that you can do what I'm teaching and not do it for good. I just don't actually think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. You will sabotage it. That's how it will not work. So I don't need to protect the teachings. The teachings are free and available to everyone. And so that frees me to be incredibly generous with the material, and then to really fight for you to do what you need to do to actually be the full truth of who you are. Because if you are able, willing, and active in claiming your gift, which means claiming yourself, it means knowing yourself, it means stepping into the full truth of who you are. The full truth of who you are, which is all those things that you said before. Free, joyful, excited, focused, present. All those things that you are naturally when you're doing something that you love, when you're experiencing something that you love. That thing, that's the only thing that's required in a sales conversation. Really, really. If that thing is in place, you won't be able to keep the people away. The people who are meant to benefit from your mastery will recognize it because you're doing it. And anything else is, I'm going back to the quote, if you're not experiencing that, it's showing you that you are missing some of that core strength, and that you are allowing negative forces, whether it's pressure from society or negative spirits, to use you for their purposes. I don't mean that in a threatening or frightening way, okay? But just in a let's this real talk. If you're anything like me, you were raised in a culture that taught that making money required that you sacrifice your integrity, Artists who were successful were called sellouts. That's the culture that we were raised with. So we come by this mindset, honestly, it's not, we didn't do this to ourselves. But what I'm teaching here is that the opposite is now required. In order to serve in this new initiated phase of your life, you have got to claim all of yourself for yourself and stop pretending to be something that you're not, to please other people, to hide from other people, to play a role. That's not what you came here for. And the quarantine is really opening that up. This is always opening. This is always opening. The quarantine, I think, is really, again, it's turning up the contrast. And so people are seeing oh my God, I actually really love to just be at home all the time. Or, oh my God, I literally hate my job. What a relief that I don't have to go. Right? There's a lot of things that are being revealed during this time that are helping people get closer. They're helping you get closer to your next level of mastery. So let me go back to the quote. I'm just going to read that piece again. Yeah, tell me what you guys are getting from this. I'm seeing that your minds are blown. You're with me. You love it. Tell me what you love. What's making sense to you? I think this is really important. It'll help you to articulate it. It'll help others to read what you're writing. So again, Rolling Thunder said to me, if I continued training with him, he needed to be certain that I had enough core strength that negative forces, whether pressures from society or negative spirits, couldn't use me for their purposes. In other words, would I be motivated by love, by service? I'm just going to pause there again, because that shit is all that we are. The truth of who we all are is 100% love. Everything that's not love, it's real. We have that experience. I'm not trying to diminish that. But it's not the truth of what we are. That only happens when we're in the illusion of separation. That only happens when we're in the illusion of needing to protect and defend something. Yes, Tiffany, it's helpful to realize that the negativity I experience internally isn't a sign of something wrong with me. It's teaching me what is and isn't for me. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I love you. So big. Would I be motivated by love, by service, which is what we're all here made of and for? We come here to love, to understand love, to go deeper in love, to be love and to be loved. And we come here to contribute. We come here to serve each other, to serve growth, to serve God, to serve love. This is the same thing. So if that's what we're here for, just to throw this in here, that's what sales is meant for also. How could it be anything else? I'm not saying that everyone does sales from a place of love. They don't. That's definitely not the truth. But that's not a reflection on sales. That's a reflection on their own consciousness, on their own awareness, on their own claiming of themselves and the gift that they came into this world to give. Okay, in other words, would I be motivated by love, by service, or could I be turned to the dark side of the force? I love that. Could I be turned so that I would be using my gifts in service of ego or greed? Rolling Thunder said I would need to be tested, and the test would not come from him. It would come from the spiritual realm. So back to Tiffany's distinction. That's how I see all of our negative experiences. Literally every one. It's showing us where we are still using our gifts in service of ego or greed. Not a bad thing. This is a very human thing. This is what we come here to figure out. So don't make that wrong. But it shows, right, when it feels bad, that shows us where we're getting disconnected from the truth. Because the truth is that we're here for love and service all the time, no matter what. Let's talk about what this actually means. When you live from this place, it doesn't mean that you're walking around going, namaste, and looking like you're on a cloud. I mean, it might. I'm not to say that that's not an option. You could do that, but that's not, the form of it doesn't necessarily look that way. Sometimes the form looks like a big shitstorm. Sometimes the form looks like someone being angry with you, or someone judging you, or someone rejecting you, or someone saying no. When you are in that defensive place, when you haven't yet claimed the fullness of your gifts in this lifetime, it's like it's very much here. When you're not doing that in just a moment, just for a moment, when that's not where you're coming from, and someone says no to you in a sales call, or you're afraid they're going to say no to you, it's like you just kind of close up and it's done. The thing is freaking done before it even starts. If you come from love, if you are claiming your gift all the way fully, meaning you know who you are, love. You know what you are, servant of love. You know how you serve by continuing to love no matter what, and seeing everything that comes to you as love, no matter what it feels like, no matter what it looks like. You put everything into that river, that pipeline. Then when someone has actually a negative reaction or a difficult moment, you are undistracted by your own material, and you can show up 100% for them. How many of you have ever had the opportunity to get mad at someone and really feel them loving you while you're mad? I hope you all have had that experience, but in fact, most people don't have that experience. It's a very powerful thing. It's a very generous thing to yourself and to the person that you're with. Imagine what would happen if you were to give that experience to everyone in your life. Some of you are doing that already. What would happen if you did it like 10 times as much, with 10 times the intensity? Scaling, for those of you that think about scaling, it might mean helping more people. It might mean helping the same number of people, but much more powerfully. It might mean both. What is your gift? You know. Tell yourself that you know, because that's the truth. I can feel those of you that are like, later, I'll figure it out later. I don't know. It's an overwhelming question. Like, this is not the trick question. I'm not testing you. This is a moment to just like rest into your knowing. You know what your gift is already. In the most general sense, it is love and it is service. So lean into that knowing. Even if you don't know anything else about it, you know that. What does that feel like to live from that place, that the whole purpose of your life is to shine that gift of love and service into the world? It's so simple. So simple. So simple. Like, I want to be really clear with you. I help entrepreneurs, spiritual teachers, healers, coaches every single day. And we do talk about strategy, and we do talk about vision, and we do plan things. We do things in the form. Like, we talk about the material world for sure. But I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter. We can do all that work for hours a day, and it doesn't matter if they're not doing what I'm talking about now, if they're not showing up from this place of inner clarity and knowing. And this is why I teach my 6-step process, which the retreat is coming up May 15th and 16th. Please come. It's $297 until May 5th. It's literally a steal. Link is also in the link tree. on my website, everything. But this is why I teach those 6 steps. And the bulk of those 2 days, the bulk of the 2-day retreat, I'm not even trying to pitch the retreat right now. I just want to be clear. Like, we spend 3/4 of that just talking about this inner work, just talking about getting situated internally. That's why the spiritual work is so relevant to the business work. That's why the meditation practice is so helpful to your sales. Because when you are coming from that place of knowing, coming from that place of love and service, unconditionally, every moment, no matter what life throws at you, no matter what form of expression it's taking, that's when shit changes. That's when all your strategic thinking and planning and action actually makes a difference. Because you're internally lined up. Good talk. Any questions? I'm super excited about the open forum tomorrow. So if you think of more questions, you want to get some coaching with me in real time, sign up for that. Thanks, Tiffany. It's free, totally free. I'm just really wanting to show up and serve more during this time. So we're opening that up once a week. And if you want to do some deeper work, come to the retreat, May 15th and 16th. It's $297 until May 5th, and the price goes up to $497. So you save $200 if you sign up early. And I've had people leave that retreat and just have incredible, very fast changes in their lives and in their income. So I really believe in the work. I really believe in you, and I would love to be able to support you more deeply. All right, beauties. Great job. I'll see you next week, if not before.